Hey there, everybody. What is going on? So we're going to have some fun today. This is going to be a longer video. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or a soda and kick back, relax. What we're going to do today is we're going to show you how to use ChatGPT to generate the code that you want to use in a raw HTML element to wrap text around an image. So let me pop over here to Systeme.io and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So once we get into Systeme.io and we go into the page that we're editing, what you can see here is this text just kind of goes and goes here on the side. And if I had more, and there is more text that I actually would like to have put here, what's going to happen is this is going to end up getting longer and longer and longer, and then the image is going to be like way up here, and it's just not going to look really cool. So what I want to do is wrap this text around this image. What do you do if you're not someone who is proficient in HTML and in CSS, and maybe you're not proficient in JavaScript? Maybe that's going to come into play. That's okay. We can use ChatGPT to figure this out. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth here. It's not going to be when you use ChatGPT or another AI to develop code for your website, whether it's Systeme.io or whether it's Kajabi or whether it's Podia. There's going to be some back and forth. It's not going to work. And I'm going to just full on go through the process that I go through. We're going to walk through it and stumble through it. And there's going to be some stumbling here. Guarantee it's not going to work the first time out. So that being said, let's pop on over to ChatGPT over here. And you can literally go to chatgpt.com now. And if you wanted to sign up, you can sign up. I don't know if this will let me do a chat without actually signing up or not, but let's see. What I want to do here is we're going to give this some context. You are an expert web developer and designer. I'm going to put that in there as well. And you are proficient with Systeme.io. You are well aware of how to use Systeme.io's raw HTML element. Okay. I need code to wrap text around an image. What code should I use? Okay. And yeah, it's going to let us do it without even signing up. All right. So here's what we've got. It's giving us the code. Hopefully it's, and I can tell right now, what's the word I was looking for? Hopefully it's smart enough to know that this is going to be going into a raw HTML element. Sometimes they'll give you code that's not going to quite fit or quite work with the raw HTML element. But that's part of this whole video, is figuring that out. So this is the code that it gave us. And I can tell right now that it's got some stuff here called flex. And that's making things responsive, which is also going to really come into play in part of this video. So you can either highlight all this and copy it, or you can just literally click on copy code. All right, so let's go pop back over into our editor. And what I want to do here, I want to create a whole new row here that I'm going to pop this image, same image in, and I'm going to wrap this text around the image. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over here and find a new row and drag it over. Yeah, we'll put it right above here. So we got one row going across there. Now what I'm going to do in this row, I'm going to go click back in, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to grab the raw HTML element here. Just going to drag it. I'm going to drop it right into that row. All right. So now I'm going to click into this raw HTML element. I'm going to go over here to the left, and I'm going to click on Edit Code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this H2 tag that's got this Systeme.io header there completely out. I'm going to pop in ours. So what this is here, this is the path to the image. All right. So right now I'm just going to save it. It's going to probably look ugly. And here, image description, your text goes here. All right. So what we want to do for the path is we're just going to right click on the image right here. And if you don't have the image already on your page, you could literally just go into your media file And probably the best way would be just to pull an image element in and then drop it in here like that, and then click on it, and then here, image files, you go over here, and then your images, and then here's all the images, and literally just click on one. And once you have the image that you're wanting to pop into that code, right click on it and do open image in new tab. This is going to be the address right here that you're going to want to pop into the code. All right, I'm going to exit out of that. I'm going to exit out of this. I'm going to delete this because I don't need it anymore. And we're going to pop this open again. We're going to go to edit code. And right here where it says image space src, it's image source. All right, and so the path is literally the HRL code, or the URL code that we just copied. And we're going to paste this into here. Okay, now we're going to save it. And there it is. And then this is our text. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to highlight all this text. I'm just going to copy all this. And then we're going to use the actual text there. I'm going to go back up here, and we're going to go into the edit code option again. And then here is your text goes here. I'm going to paste that in. And again, this is going to put this in this little P here. This is a P tag. This is a paragraph tag. Okay, and this is in HTML. You have what they call an opening tag. This is your opening paragraph tag, and then this basically says, okay, this is the end of the paragraph. End the paragraph. That's an ending paragraph tag. So the text that I'm popping in here now is multiple paragraphs, but when I paste it in, it's really going in as just one paragraph. So we'll have to go in there and fix that. So we're going to click on save. Now, what if you're just not sure about that even? You know, hey, I'm not really sure about how to even do that, right? So let's go back over here and say, let's go back and just see how this looks. So that looks great, but it's not wrapping it. And part of the reason it's not wrapping is because it didn't have to wrap. It just, you know, it had plenty of room to fit just on the one side. So let's go in here and we're going to play with this some more. I'm going to go in here, and what I'm going to do is actually, I'm just going to copy this whole line. Yeah, that's what we can do. And go down there, copy, and I'm going to go back here. I'm going to do a paste. I'm going to do a couple and paste, and then save. Now we should, if all is right, we should see some wrapping. All right, so obviously we aren't seeing any wrapping here, putting paragraph after paragraph over to the right and not wrapping it at all. So let's go back to ChatGPT and tell it that this isn't working quite right. Here is the text that I'm using to wrap around the image. And let's do this. Again, I'm going to open the image, open image new tab. I'm going to even tell ChatGPT what the image is. The image URL is, okay. And now I know part of what might have happened here. If we go back up to this code and edit code, if I go in here, we've got this first one, scroll all the way down, and it looks to me like we don't have an ending P tag now. Somehow I messed that up and I took that ending tag out. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this completely out of here. Control copy, Control X. And I'm going to go and I'm going to open up an editor to pop this in. I'm probably just going to use Notepad. Okay, I'm going to bring Notepad over because I want to be able to see this a lot better. Yep, no ending P tag. So that's what's part of the thing that's going on here. And when you do an ending tag, it's a / and then the closing, the P, and then at least for the paragraph tag, and then the ending bracket there. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to copy it, paste, paste. We'll take all this out. All right. Going to highlight this. We can do a Control A, Control C. Going to pop this over my other window. And now what I'm going to do is right here, Problem isn't easy to manage, which makes you feel like giving up on a lush green lawn, blah, 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 blah. Huh, interesting. Look at this. It's got a whole bunch more in here. Ah, I see what it did. Okay, I see exactly what I did. All right, so it did here. I'm going to do a tag there. Yep. That's an ending tag. Got to make sure I'm doing this right. Save. Let's just see what happens here. It's not wrapping around the image at all. We could pop this open and just see maybe that's just the way it's looking like in the editor. But I suspect that that's still going to not be the case. Yeah, it's not wrapping it around at all. All right. So we're going to go back here. And again, I'm going to pull this over. Actually, let me open this text up, edit the code. And I want to highlight this whole thing here. Yeah, it looks good. Copy. Okay, I'm going to bring this back over. Okay, I'm going to do this. Take this div out. Let's just try it with the 2 paragraphs there and see what happens. Okay, what I'm going to do now, it's obviously still having issues. So let's just make sure I've got a closing paragraph there. Clean this up a little bit. And let me give it some space here, some breathing room, so we can see what's going on. And that looks good. So I'm going to copy this whole thing. All right, we're going to go over to ChatGPT again now and just let it know this isn't working. All right, quite right. Here's the text I'm using to wrap around the image. The URL is up. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I pressed enter. Okay, come on. Let's go back and work on this again. Copy. All right. I'm going to do a shift and enter so it doesn't actually enter it. Okay, now I'm going to go down over here and say the text isn't wrapping around the image at all. It's keeping it all on the right side of the image. All right, and so here ChatGPT's like, there's lots of ways of doing CSS, and so if something doesn't work, it'll provide another option for you. And so that's what it's doing right now. Again, it's giving us some style, which is great. We're going to go ahead and copy the code. We're going to go back to our editor. And this time, I'm going to take all this out. I'm going to do Control A. I'm going to delete it. Control V to paste everything in. If you're on a Mac, it's going to be a Command V. And we're going to save it. See what happens here this time. Okay, so what's going on here is we still might be all right. It's looking a little bit better. I don't like it being centered, and we'll fix that also. And obviously, we have a lot of formatting as far as colors and what have you, and font sizes we got to fix as well. But that's the whole beauty of this. We just kind of go back and forth with ChatGPT to get things just right. So now what we want to do is, what's the font size? We're going to click on the font size down here. Font size 20, line height 26. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and do a couple of things. First, I'm going to say, excellent, and just have a conversation with it. This is looking pretty good. Now, thank you. They've said that if you actually are nice to ChatGPT, it'll work better for you. Don't know if that's really the case or not, but hey, I just treat it like I'm talking to an actual person. So much for having the patience to iron all of this out. The text looks like it's centered. Can we get it to be left justified? Also, can you make the font size 20 and the line height 26? I think that's what we were at. Font size is 20, line height's 26. All right, the other thing is we've got a certain color in here. Right here is our color. So we're going to click on the color and I'm going to highlight that, copy, and we'll go back here. Also, can you make the font color? Let's go back over here and put a hashtag. Normally it's a hashtag or a pound sign. All right. So what it's going to do is it's going to provide the exact same code, but it's just going to adjust this code to include the code that we need to make sure it's left justified instead of centered. It's going to include the code to make the size 20 and the height 26 for the font and the font color. And that's going to all be in the style. So again, you don't have to know that. You can literally just go in here and copy code. But down in here, if we go over here, right here, image with text, is the I think it's called the element ID. Again, I'm doing this right now with you because I'm not an expert in CSS. So we got the font size is 20, line height's 26, and then the color. So again, it's pulling in all the stuff and then text align left. All right, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to copy this code. All right, so I know enough to be dangerous, but definitely not an expert. So we're going to go click back over here into our raw HTML element, make sure that we open that up, go over to edit code, and again, we can literally just highlight everything and paste it all back in and do a save. And then now we can see that it's got the right color now. It's got the right font size now, which is great. Looks like it's actually even pulled in the right font. What's what I'm looking for? Style. So down here, if we click on this, it's Poppins. So it looks like it's even using Poppins, which is great. So, but it's still not wrapping, right? And let's go ahead and just click on the eyeball and just see. Let's go over here and just check it out and take a look. All right, so I'm going to scroll down and yeah, sure enough, it's not wrapping at all. All right, so let's go back to ChatGPT. And then once again, okay, excellent. Once again, this is looking pretty good. The font color and size is all as it should be. However, it is not wrapping around the image. Okay, so now what it's going to do is going to say, okay, let's try a different type of code, or let's do another way of coding. And so it's going to be completely different than what it tried up here. Not completely different, but it's going to be different. All right, so we're going to do a copy code. We're going to go back over here. Going to click into here. Come on, click into there. We're going to click on edit code. Again, I'm just going to highlight the whole thing. It's just easier to take it all out, save it, and then we'll see. All right, so now it's dropping it on the bottom. Okay. Okay, this time it dropped it on the, it dropped all of the text to the bottom of the image. It didn't wrap it around the image. Okay. So we're going to click into here. We're going to edit our code. Again, I'm going to take it all out. I'm going to do a control. No, that's not going to work. Let's try control A now. Yeah, that works. So click into it and then do a control A and it highlights everything. I'm going to hit the delete key. And now I'm going to do a control V. And again, if you're on a Mac, it's going to be command V. And then we're going to save it. If all goes well, it should wrap it. And it's still not wrapping it. So we'll go in here. Again, I'm going to hit the eyeball just in case. Just kind of take a peek and see. Maybe it's just displaying in the editor that way, but will display properly on the actual page. And it doesn't. Okay. So now it's back. Okay, now the text is back on the left, and is not wrapping around the image. Okay. And again, we just have to keep kind of going back and forth. Now, once it gets wrapped, we can really get in there, and there's going to be a lot more work we need to do to, you know, get some font colors just right. We're going to have to go and test the mobile stuff. That's all going to still come into play. So here it's still writing everything for us. Looks like it's finished now. I'm going to do a copy code. Go back over here. I'm going to do edit code again. Click in, do Control A, delete, Control V, save, and yeah, still not working. Again, I'm just going to double check it on the live site, you know, in the preview mode. Just take a look. Nope. All right. This is still not working. I'm real tempted to pull up what I did with Claude, and you know what? We might just give up here and go back to Claude. And that's the other thing you got to keep in mind. If something's not working, if you're working with ChatGPT, there are other AI models out there, AI tools out there that you can use that might give you a solution quicker. All right, so I'm going to go up here. I'm going to copy this, and if this doesn't work, we're going to go ahead and we're going to ditch ChatGPT, and we're going to go back over to Claude. Okay, I'm going to save. All right, and yeah, it's not even working. All right, so guess what, guys? I don't know about you, but I'm done. Claude AI. Okay. Okay, there's Claude. We're going to go into that, and I don't know if it's going to require me to log in or not. I could continue with Google, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and just do that. And after we verify everything, we're going to get started. Nice to meet you. I'm Egbert. I'm just going to use my alter ego. Send. Acknowledge and continue. Again, you're only going to have to do this once. All right, sounds good. Let's begin. All right, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to go back over here to ChatGPT, and we're going to go all the way up to the last kind of prompt that we were using that gave it all kind of the information. Actually, no, let's go back up here all the way to the top, and we're going to do this. Copy it. I'm going to pop this into here. I'm going to hold the shift button down and enter because I don't want to hit the enter key yet because that'll enter the whole text. I'm not ready yet. And then we had some back and forth here. Let's see here. I think yeah. Here's the code. Here's the URL right here. This is what I want to tell Claude. Okay. Going to do a Control V, and it will know that these are closing and opening paragraph tags. I'm holding the shift down to put a space here, just kind of doing this so that I can read it better. And then we're going to go back up here. You are well aware of how to use Systeme.io's raw HTML element. Can you show me what code I need to copy and paste into the raw HTML element in Systeme.io. Okay. Now the question is, will it remember from my other account that I was doing this? So here it's doing a div, which is interesting. I don't think there's more to it though. Did I not do a very good ask it enough? Let me go back up here. Yeah, let's go back and redo this. We're going to do a new chat. All right. Copy this. All right, we're going to go into Claude and we're going to tell it that it's a expert developer and designer, and you're proficient with Systeme.io. You're well aware of how to use Systeme.io's raw HTML element. I need code to wrap around text image. What code should I use? All right, I don't need all of that. Going to take that out. We're going to go back to ChatGPT, and we're going to tell it to use all this. Here is the text I'm using, and here is the image URL that I'm using. Paste. Okay, and then right down here, again, we'll go and kind of break this up a little bit. What code should I use? And then we'll do an enter. So it should have more than just the div. Yeah, okay, so it's got both the HTML and the CSS here. So it's a little different than ChatGPT is giving it all in one, which would be nice, but that's okay. So we're going to do copy code. We're going to go back over to the editor, click on edit code, and do Control A, Control V. There's our div. Now we got to go and get the CSS. Now one of the things that we could do, copy code, paste, and then save. And let's just see what happens. All right. This is what happened when I was using Claude earlier. It put it all on the bottom. So this is very similar to what I was running into before. Let's go back into ChatGPT side, because what I want to do is get all the font information again. You know what? Let's do this first. Let's go back over here and say, hey, all this didn't work. All of the text is below the image. Also, can you use, you can tell here it's not using style like ChatGPT was. If we go over here, ChatGPT did a style element, and this didn't do that. So let's do this and tell it to actually also, can you provide the CSS in style? And can you give me all of the code together so that I can copy, so I can use copy once. I don't know if it's smart enough to know that or not, but we'll find out. Okay, so it's rewriting it, and it didn't. It just did it. All it did. We'll take a look at it and see. Maybe it's that simple. Edit code. Save. And it could very well be that it is set to wrap properly. It's just the font's too small. So now let's go back here, and we're going to go back over here to our ChatGPT now. And what we want to do is find where we were telling it. Yeah, right here. I'm just going to copy this whole thing. Copy, go back to Claude. This is looking promising. Again, I held the shift down and hit entered a couple times, and then I'm going to do Control V. I'll take this out. Not that it matters. And then enter. And then let's see what comes up as far as font size and line size and all that kind of stuff. So here it's styling things individually. It's called inline style is what they're doing here. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Again, when we don't know what we're doing, take what it gives us and use it. Look at that. So it wrapped it. One of the things here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to preview this. Okay, going to go scroll all the way down. And I'm thinking it's a little too close to the bottom of the image. And I'm also not really liking, it's plenty of, what's the word I'm looking for, space on the right of the image. It's just on the bottom, it's just too close. So a couple things I want to do. I want to get this color here just right. And here, okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Oh, that's interesting. So it's got a scroll bar here also. I don't want a scroll bar. So let's go back and fix first the space between the text and the bottom of the image. I'm going to go ahead and click out of ChatGPT. I don't need it anymore. All right, excellent. This is looking much better. The text, the space between the text and the bottom of the image is not that much. Can you add more padding or margin between the bottom of the image and the text that is displaying below it, below the image? Okay, so again, it's going to give us the code once again. And it's going to give us kind of an explanation of what it's doing. Going to go back over here, going to edit code, take this completely out, and save it. It's a little bit too much. So I think I want it to match the side, the space that's on the side. So what we're going to do here is go back and tell it. Yeah, we're going to go back and just tell it that. Go over to Claude and say now the space on the bottom is a lot more than the space on the right of the image. Can you make these equal? Okay. I'm really impressed that the code that it's giving us is a lot more clean, a lot smaller. That might change as we develop, as we go in here and go back and forth, because we're going to have some issues with mobile, guarantee it. So I'm going to copy the code, and so that might get kind of tricky when we go into that. But right now we're just going in here, paste, save. Yeah, and that's still not. It's not the same. It's not the same space. Yeah, I can tell. All right, go back over here. The space on the bottom is still a lot more than the space on the right of the image. Can you make it so that they are the same amount of space? On the right and bottom of the image, here's the updated code. copy, edit, save. Still not quite right, I can tell. Scroll all the way down. It's not terrible. It's still just not quite right. Now again, we could go back and forth here with this as well. I think we're going to have to be. There comes a time where it's like it's just going to have to be good enough. I'm really just being OCD here, but it is what it is. But again, I don't like this bar here, so let's go ahead and say now you have okay. Let's go back to working with this code. Shift Enter, Control V. Can you take the scroll bar that is showing up away? Overflow hidden. All right. Well, that's interesting. To remove the scroll bar that appears when the text wraps around the floated image, we can add the following CSS rule to the container. Okay. Can you add all of this in one window so I only have to copy code one time that is going to be pasted into the raw HTML element. Okay. Beautiful. It's exactly what I wanted. All right. So copy code, going back over here. Again, not liking the fact that it's just not having equal space, but it is what it is. Save, open that up. It looks like the overflow, bar is still showing up. The scroll bar is still showing up. And look at that, flex. Again, a lot of times, whenever I see flex, I usually get excited because that's usually when I start seeing things start to work like I want them to work. Save, and it went away. All right, so now it broke. All right. The scroll bar went away, but now the text is not wrapping around the image. Okay, giving me a lot of stuff I don't really need to see. I just want save. All right, now we got to go back. It centered it again. It looks like the text is centered. Can you make it so that it's left justified? So we'll let it finish up, and then we're going to click on copy code. Trying to copy it, go back up, edit code, paste, save. All right, we're getting there. So what I want to do now is, go back here, and I want this battleground sprinklers and landscaping to be green. going to go in here. I'm going to click on this and click on that. I want to get my green color and then copy that. And then I'm going to go back over here and say, super, that is looking much better. So it's telling me I've got 2 messages remaining until 6 p.m. So evidently we're going to probably run out of things that we can do here. But at least we'll give you an idea of what you can do for using the code or using Claude to develop the code, at least for the website side. Mobile, we're going to have some more work to do. Can you make the text battleground sprinklers and landscaping? Can you make the font color? The font color for the text be, it'll know. I'm not going to put the pound sign in this time. So it's going to go and recreate the code. And as it goes in here, so here's the white code, right? Okay, and then it knows after that that we're going to also have this stuff right here be green. So rather than having it go back and style the other places that we want, I'm going to use this. We could go back and forth just like we've been doing and tell it what other areas we want to have green. But I'm just going to copy the code. We're going to go back over here. Going to go back up here, and I'm going to, let's see here. Click on the raw HTML, edit code. Again, we're going to take it all and we're going to paste it in and save. Okay. Oh, and it remembered. That's cool. Beautiful. I love that. And then the only other code that I want green is this stuff right here. We believe everyone in Clark County, Washington should have the lawn of their dreams. So what we're going to do is we're going to click into this code. I'm just going to highlight the whole thing, and I'm going to copy it into my notepad. Paste it in. Okay. And when you're doing CSS stuff, spaces don't matter. You can put as many spaces between stuff so that you can read it as you want. And it's not going to affect anything as far as when you paste it back in. So what we have here is this is where we want, this is telling this line right here, span, is the beginning of, you put this in the beginning of where you want the green to start. And then this is where you say, hey, okay, this is where you can end the green color. And so what we want to do is right in here, right here, we want this to be green. So we're going to go in over here. We're going to copy this span, copy. All right, and paste. Everyone in Clark County, Washington should have the lawn of their dreams, and then we're going to do an end span right here. Okay, and so that an end tag is, again, you have your opening bracket / end the span, and then a closing bracket. Okay. Now I'm going to highlight all this, copy it, going to put it back over here and do a paste. And it's pasting. That's kind of cool. It's pasting it with all my spaces. Pasting it with all my spaces. And there we go. All right. One of the things that I want to do is I want this image to be bigger. I'd like it to be a little bit bigger, and it's not. So image size, might be able to do that right up here in our code. Going to edit code. Image search. Style, float. We're going to take this important out, even though it's working for us. Max width 300. Yeah, it's throwing a lot of importance in there. Let's do 350 and see what happens. I don't know if that's for the image or not. Looks like it's getting bigger. Edit code. Let's do something really big just to see if what we're doing is making sense. go back over here. Let's do 600. Save. And I can tell already that the image got bigger. Okay. Going to do a quick save changes. We're going to do the eyeball. Preview. And then we're going to scroll all the way down. And there we go. We've got it. I'm happy with that. Again, the space is just a little off on the bottom, but again, I'm being OCD and we're just going to call this good. The other thing that I think I would end up doing is going back here and rounding these edges of the image a little bit more, add some more drop shadow to the images. And again, you can go back and forth with Claude for that. I only have one remaining image, or one remaining message, so it might not let me do much with that. Let's do that right now, actually. Let's go back up here and let's just say we want see how much we can fit in this last one. First thing, can you make the image have a max be bigger around 600 pixels? Let's just see what it does. Can you give, and here if we go into our image, I think this one here has rounded corners. This says 397, but that's I can tell that it's not 397. It's definitely bigger than that here. Top, that's our margin. Border radius of 5. Okay. Can you give a border radius of 5 so that the corners, let's just make sure it knows what we're talking about, have a curve so that each of the 4 corners is curved and can you add a hard drop shadow to the image? And again, this is going to be the last one. It's going to let me do until 6 p.m. All right. It's going to give me a bunch of explanation of what it just did, which I'm not worried about. Go back over here, click into here, click into here again. Come on. Want my code option to come up. Save, and hopefully didn't mess everything up. Doesn't look like it. And there, I can actually see a little bit of a curve now. If we wanted to have more, we could. It does have a drop shadow now. Save changes. And we'll do a preview. Scroll all the way down. And there's our drop shadow. We got a little bit of curve there. I'm happy with that. All right. So that's how we use AI to develop our code. And again, it took a while. It took us, this was over an hour long video. And that's before I edit everything out. It could be shorter by the time you guys are watching it. But if you don't really know what you're doing and you don't really want to have to go and pay for a developer to do it, this is how you do it. We've now we've used AI to create the code that we need to wrap text around an image. And in the description down below, if you do not have a Systeme account already and would like to sign up for one, we do have a link for you. That link is an affiliate link. It doesn't cost you a thing to use it. And as we've mentioned before, the free account that Systeme provides is extremely robust. If you decide that you ever want more features and you want to pay for an upgraded account, at that point, we would get a commission, and that helps us out a lot. It helps support our channel. Also, what would really, really help us out is if you hit the subscribe button down below and subscribe to our channel. That's it for now, everybody. Thanks for watching.